your rule against that? Damn it, Grady.
Oh, it's been a while since we've all been here. Oh, before we start, um, we're having a scheduling conflict for next week's game, Joseph.
Uh-oh.
And it looks like the only day that could potentially work, given all of the problems with scheduling next week, is Wednesday, and only if. Because the only people who have conflicts on Wednesday are me, Malachi, and Alex. And it's the podcast. It's like, but if we turn the podcast into the game that day, then we're technically doing both.
I'm fine with doing the podcast. I mean, the game. Sorry. I'm fine with you replacing podcast day with game day. Sorry, I was typing.
It'll just be for that week to clear up the scheduling conflict.
I've been doing all kinds of scatterbrain stuff this week while teaching. I'll write down a number. I'll write down the thing I meant to say and say the thing I meant to write down. I'm just losing it.
Well, as long as you don't walk into the room with a glass of chocolate milk and a TV remote and go to throw the TV remote on your bed and mess up. Heard that happened recently to somebody. Alright. We ready for the theme song?
Go with the theme song.
Go with the theme song.
Should we wait until we're... Okay.
Wait, what do you want to wait until? I have to mess around with
Okay,
the bottom.
no, you're in my feed now.
Who's in your
I'm
feed?
In chat now.
Am I awesome or am I awesome?
It's time for the theme song.
This is the Player 4 Podcast. Join us each week as we talk about video games, entertainment, and pop culture, and bring in guests from the Rooster Teeth community. Player 4 has entered the game.
Hello and welcome to the Player 4 Podcast. I'm your host, Tristan, aka Shagrazier.
I'm Alex, aka Chaos Black 21.
I'm Malachi, aka Sukihiba.
And I'm Joseph, aka J Dunlap. And it's been so long, I even forgot what time we were supposed to go live today.
Calls up at 7 p.m. I'm ready. Wait, it's not for an hour, is it?
Well, 7 p.m. for you.
Yeah, 7 p.m. for me.
6 for normal Central Standard Time, people.
I walked back from... I took the company vehicle in for its checkup and then walked back to my apartment, and it took me over an hour to get back.
And then you walked to Amy's Ice Cream.
You know, I kind of wish I had.
I
Stopped for a burrito, but I was, in fact, by about a quarter of the way through the walk, I had no option but to walk because my phone died.
Nice.
Oh, no!
But Tristan, we have to clarify. You don't just get a burrito. You get a 5-layer burrito.
No, that's only if I go to Taco Bell. There's no Taco Bell around here.
What? You get a 5... So, don't other taco places do something similar?
Not like Taco Bell.
Oh, well,
No
that's
self-respecting taco places or burrito place is going to put nacho cheese in it. That's a Taco Bell thing.
unfortunate.
Is Malachi like unreasonably angry right now?
Malachi is
Why?
unreasonably into Taco Bell right now, and I don't have a Taco Bell near here. I have to drive to one.
Why am I unreasonably
I-
angry?
I haven't been constipated lately, so I have no reason to go to Taco Bell.
I mean, I hear this argument from everybody constantly. I've never had a problem with the food at Taco Bell, not since the 90s.
I got food poisoning there once, but also I can cook things way better than Taco Bell, so I just cook now.
But I don't do it because I can't cook. I do it because I want Taco Bell.
I just don't. That's just me. I just don't.
I like Taco Bell. It's delicious and cheap. And I don't have to spend any of my day cooking. I can instead just
I don't know.
have
Eat.
food.
I've actually come to enjoy the process of cooking.
I never really got there. You know, I cook with
So-
Sam on occasion, and the only reason I have fun with that, really, is because we're doing that together, and so as a together activity, that makes it fun. But if I were in my place on my own cooking, I'd be like, why am I spending all this time doing all this work when I could literally call somebody and say, bring me food?
You
And
know,
an hour later, I would have food.
I kind of agree with that. Like, there's times where, like, I'll like watch a cooking show and I'll be like, you know what, that would be kind of cool to make. But then, like, I just get to the point where I don't want to put in the effort, and I'd rather just get something quick and easy. But if I had someone to like make dinner with, then I feel like it would
Aw.
be better.
Well, you know, I find it as the working toward a goal thing and then savoring the delicious victory.
You know, I've learned that food tastes even better when someone else makes it for you.
That's not where I thought you were going with that.
I'm sorry, my burgers are better than any fast food burgers any day.
I mean,
Mine are better than
that's
yours.
probably true.
Whoa,
Burgers,
Are we gonna have a cook-off at RTX?
I mean, probably. Joseph usually stops in for a day to make everybody burgers.
I feel like for that to happen, he would have to come to RTX.
Oh, Joseph.
He's thinking about
Joseph.
it.
Thinking
He's-
about it, Alex. What are you talking about? We're in
He's
the
saving
process.
it. I mean, you said that you're in the process. You haven't necessarily fully committed.
No, I have.
Oh, you have.
He's in
I-
like Flynn.
I feel like it's because you finally committed, and we're finally going to get you to come to RTX. And
It's
now the world's like, hey, guess what? We're gonna throw this coronavirus at you now, so that it might possibly not even happen.
Well,
Malachi did it.
yeah, right.
Why did he do the coronavirus?
But
Because he doesn't
no,
like beer and he didn't want to go to RTX.
I don't like
I
beer
like-
either, but I don't do coronaviruses over it.
I drink. What are you talking about?
You
Oh,
drank
I get-
too many Coronas.
I get it now.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. That actually went over my head too. I got you.
Don't worry, I got you, Joseph.
I got it
Less
like
than
that
likely.
moment before you said it, Alex. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah.
I did see
So what
a
are the-
thing that like a certain percentage of Americans stopped drinking Corona because of the coronavirus.
What? That's so dumb.
These
That's
people
how
can have
sad
children
this
and
country
boats.
is.
Do they not? They don't. I shouldn't even ask. They do not realize that coronavirus is an entire, like, family of viruses that has been known about and studied for decades.
Yeah.
And the
I have
one
a
that's
question.
epidemicing right now is just one of those coronaviruses.
Yeah, but they didn't call the others the coronaviruses.
No,
so
because
that's why.
because that's a very generic name.
Yeah, and they just gave this one's like the specific be all end all coronavirus.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate for them. So, like, this one is called COVID, COVID-19. That's the specific one. It didn't get a cool name because somebody was like, oh, it's a coronavirus, and somebody else was like, what, coronavirus? That's a cool name. And now everyone knows that name.
Mm-hmm.
They shouldn't have named the beer after a virus.
Shouldn't have done that.
They thought, that people would like it and then, like, it would spread like a virus, but it backfired. So, what are the topics for today?
Topics for today are catching up with Joseph, Love Tap. Trust me, none of us knows what that is. Probably D&D stuff, Pirates of Plenty, and then we will get the flip out of here.
Huh. Backfiring and Taco Bell.
Nobody knows
Why-
what love
why
tap
would-
is,
why would you
even
do
the
that?
creator.
Why, Joseph?
Because Joseph's all about the poop stories.
He is. He's poop
Okay,
story, bro.
so if I'm doing a poop story,
Oh,
then,
no!
I had an extra coffee today in the afternoon because of the weather, and I didn't want to get a headache, and I wanted to be awake, and I was fighting my instincts to hibernate today. So I had another coffee in the afternoon, and then, like an hour later, I had to run to the bathroom.
Poop story, bro.
Aren't you glad that I'm here?
Throwing it up there.
No, that's not. No, I only do that when I eat Taco Bell.
No, not I didn't even get the hashtag right. I typed it wrong.
Yeah, poopatory, bro.
Poop.
I went to the poopatory.
Oh my
How
goodness.
was the poopatory where you were at? Was it a good poopatory?
I don't even know you guys anymore.
Did you ever?
Running Dookie.
Apparently not.
Running Dookie.
Dookie Manjaro.
Duke-tastic.
Dude,
All right.
atrocity.
Let's try to get.
Duke-trocity.
Remember that movie poster I made of Running Dookie?
Yeah.
All right, so it's time for Alex has to sing a theme song now.
Is this the catching up with Joseph?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like every time I sing this, because it's always been a while, I don't quite remember the whole lyrics, so this is probably going to be different from what the actual version is. But,
Remix.
we haven't seen him for a while. It's catching up with Joseph.
I'm feeling here.
So where have you been?
I want February back is where I've been. I spent almost every evening of the past month in rehearsals and performances for a musical called, this is what it's called, Sister Amnesia's Country Western Nonsense Jamboree.
So
That's a long title.
It was a light novel, a Japanese light novel is what it was.
No, it wasn't, but surprisingly, based off the title, it's not an anime. Just kidding. It's an anime. It's a musical, 24 songs, like 2 hours and 15 minutes long, 2:30 if you have the intermission figured into it. It's a bunch of hee-haw style jokes, a little bit of crude humor. It's nuns on a tour that are the idea is like the audience is not attending a musical; they're attending this tour where Sister Amnesia is her nickname. She got hit with a crucifix on the head and got amnesia. Is
As
trying
you do.
to do a promotional tour for a country album that she's made called "I Could Have Gone to Nashville,"
Me too.
and so a lot of it is kind of meta. It's like, hey, folks, you're gonna enjoy this next song that we've been working on and stuff like that. And peppered in between the songs are little hee-haw style jokes like, you know the best form of birth control?
Oh God.
No, that's it. Because they're Catholics. Haha. At one point, let's see. They're like, God's name is Howard because Howard be thy name. And I said, no, I thought it was Andy because I'm the band is on the stage. I thought it was Andy. Andy walks with me. Andy talks with me. But actually get the audience to sing it with me.
Oh God.
Let's see. There's a puppet that sings a duet with the father. His nickname is Father Hollywood because he has a radio show. She gives him a duet to sing with her, and it's like innuendo all over the place. Like he took her home to Bangor, and he's like, "Sister," she's like, "Honey, Bangor is a town,"
God.
and stuff like that. And
Joseph, why?
I didn't write the musical. They just offered me a bunch of money to play the piano for it. And it's not an easy musical to do because there's a lot of oompas, right? But there's also a lot of style changes and tempo changes. It's just like constantly changing keys and then slowing down and speeding up. And they brought me in as the secret weapon because I know how to do that sort of stuff. And the musical wouldn't have happened without me, and they paid me a bundle. So I want my month back, but I don't mind a paycheck. So I had a band sitting behind me, and we were sitting in a barn on stage, and I was leading them from in front while playing the piano, which is very difficult because there was no conductor. I taught them the tempos. I rode their case when they got things wrong, and then we did 2 weekends of shows, and it's done. And I will not be taking questions at this time. Please understand in my time of grieving for the month of February. But now I am ordering. Well, I already did it, but I'm ordering PC parts because I'm building a new computer. And a friend of mine in Austin's going to help me build it next week. I'm going to come down there next weekend during spring break, and we're going to build it. And I'm really excited because it's a gaming rig. It's going to be awesome. It's within my budget, sort of. And then my regular computer that's a piece of 10-year-old garbage is going to my office because I'm going to write music on it for Tristan the end.
Hey, I want music for the game. It'll be great.
And now you know what it's like to be one of my students when I'm not having a good day. Everything's that fast, and like I change topics every 3 seconds.
But it is
One
a
day
good
I
day
said-
now.
One day, after we established that one of the theory tutors was sick that week, I said, so since we're not having the study-thon, there's going to be tacos in my office tomorrow.
Tacos, huh?
And they were like, wait, what? How did we get to tacos from Sarah is sick? That's the name of the tutor. I'm like, oh, wait, so she was going to have the study-thon on Tuesday, and I was going to cater that with the taco bar. And since she's sick, the study-thon's not happening. So since I said that the exam would be in my office, I'm also going to have the taco bar in my office on Wednesday. And they were all like, oh, well, you just skipped all that and went straight to, because Sarah's sick and there's no study-thon, there's tacos in my office, and we thought that there was no exam anymore.
Oh, there's still exam.
I'm a little unstable sometimes. I was mad at myself one day because I was so tired from being up late from the musical every night. I couldn't sight read Beethoven. And I was just,
Yeah, I mean, I can relate to when you're just not all there. Sometimes your brain skips over things. I recently was doing a thing while DMing when I had a character enter the scene and begin talking, only to realize after I got through the first part of their monologue that I hadn't described them entering the scene. So this just random voice talking away with
it's
no
the Greek
preamble.
chorus.
It's like, what's going on?
Oh, D&D. Since the next topic is D&D, I want to segue into it. I finally got to play D&D for the first time in a month.
Oh,
Got to
That's
play
a long
yesterday, and they fought some orcs. Yeah. There's this whole storyline where they have responded to a call for mercenaries to join a little makeshift army to venture south of the river into orc territory and beat them back because apparently they're becoming a problem, apparently. Like, there's no actual good reason being given except that a scouting party attacked a small village. So they blew up the arsenal of the orc camp in the middle of the night as the signal for the army to come in and start attacking the orc army. But it took so long because there were actual trained orcs that by the time that our group had finished killing all the orcs around them, the entire camp was on fire. So the orcs went their way, and the not orcs went the other way, and that was the end of that battle. So we are at the precipice of another battle right now because they're keeping an eye on the orc camp. They're the scouts, and the army is going to come and meet them there. But things are going to happen that they're not going to expect as they're sitting there waiting for the battle to happen.
is it going to be a big battle? Is it going to be a little battle? Are they going to have the
Things are gonna
army
happen.
for this
the battle's
battle?
going to happen, but none of them listen to the podcast, so I can tell you they're actually going to get captured before the battle even happens.
Oh! They're just like ready, raring to go, and they're just like, surprise!
Yeah, they're going to get ambushed while they're setting an ambush. The battle's still going to happen, but they're going to end up slaves.
Ambush the ambush.
Counter ambush.
Yep. So the battle's going
Denied.
to happen. They're going to be aware of it happening. The battle's going to be successful because they made good plans with the pincer attack and everything. But they're going to end up either slaves of the orcs or something, or maybe sold on a slave auction or something. It's going to be awesome.
Is
They're level
it?
3, almost level 4, and it's time to give them PTSD.
So awesome.
I mean, yeah, slavery is definitely a good source of PTSD.
We are
All
running
of
with a sort of
PTSD.
sanity system.
I
And
see.
that's all I got for you.
My players recently challenged an ancient black dragon to combat. It went surprisingly well. They didn't die.
Totally did well. Yeah, I mean, we didn't die, so success.
Yeah, very success. You didn't destroy the dragon either. She.
Listen, Riken didn't really get to do much, so I blame it on that.
Oh, fun story. I actually tuned in for a brief moment of the D&D when I got done with my D&D.
I must have missed
And
that.
I heard Riken being, like, declared as a champion of something.
So it
Yeah.
was the other day, yesterday.
Yeah.
Yes.
Riken is the champion of Chord.
I want to hear, like, a 5-minute summary of what's happened recently.
Go, Tristan.
Okay. Sure. 5 minute summary of what's happened recently. So, they returned to the city after being victorious in my gigantic dungeon, where they defeated a lich and took back the Armor of Chord, a legendary artifact that they were concerned was going to cease to exist if it remained where it was. Upon returning to the city, they had two goals. They wanted to catch up with some of their NPC contacts, and then they needed to go see about saving another NPC that only one of the players had ever met. So that was kind of funny, because he basically just told the rest of the party, okay, we gotta go save my friend. And the rest of the party's like, but who are they? Why are they your friend? What's going on? And he's like, no, we gotta go. And so they went. And they found themselves in the middle of a very interesting conspiracy where there was this group of bandits who've been, just troubling this city with basic banditry, stealing, theft and fencing for years. But they, because of the chosen arguments of their sorcerer, who was trying to intimidate the group, they came into the knowledge that one of the members of this group of bandits was actually undercover, and he was part of another organization that was trying to keep ancient chromatic dragons from taking over the world. And so, after meeting him and getting some information, they found out that they might not have much time before an ancient black dragon is resurrected and comes to attack the city. And then the ancient black dragon came and attacked the city. They debated and planned and tried to come up with some way of getting the black dragon to leave the city without dying fighting her. And they spent like 2 or 3 hours of in-game time doing this. So those 2 or 3 hours, she's just flying around the city melting things. Which led to one of the funnier lines, which was one of the city councilmen said, "Oh, no, take your time figuring this out. There's still plenty of city left for her to destroy."
I love sarcastic NPCs.
He really hates them. And finally they came up with a plan where they wanted to try and use magic to fake that they had a complete set of 3 ancient artifacts that had been used to defeat the dragon in the past, the reason she needed to be resurrected. And bluff. They wanted to bluff it. And so they challenged her, and they showed off these illusions of the items that they'd created, and it very visibly affected her, but she still accepted their challenge, and so they ended up fighting her. And then just a few rounds into the fight, things were not looking good for the party, because she had just recharged her acid breath and blasted both of the wizards that were helping the party down to like no HP. A blue dragon appeared, and they had a conversation in Draconic, which effectively came to, oh good, you're awake. Okay, Big Brother wants to talk to us, let's go. And the black dragon and the blue dragon both left. And then the whole city started cheering that the party had defeated the dragon.
Hey, you're finally awake.
Yeah. So that's the couple-minute summary on the stuff that's happened since they left the dungeon.
I forgot something from my summary, which was the mission of the covert group was to blow up the armory of the orc camp, but they had to go find it, right? And there's a campfire next to it, so the dwarf fighter starts picking up the on-fire logs and chucking them into the tent, one by one, avoiding getting singed.
Oh, I saw a tweet about this, where he moved an entire campfire into a tent, one log at a time.
Yes. And then I was like, well, you've got an ember on you. You got some embers on you that are trying to catch you on fire. So the cleric is like, I'm not going to put him out, but I'll make the wizard do it. Because the wizard wasn't there for the session. He was at a theater festival. So I was like, now the wizard's touching you all over. He's like, I'm not comfortable with this.
All over.
I think
that's the one that used to follow the dwarf around taking notes.
Just to put him off?
He's a redneck, and he'd never seen a dwarf before, so he was taking notes.
It reminds me of a character from my old 3.5 game from over 10 years ago, where there was a person playing a wizard, and at one point a new player character got introduced into the party, and he was a barbarian. And the first thing the wizard did was like cast invisibility on himself, and he always had Tensor's floating disc. So he would be drifting around invisible, and he would just bombard the barbarian with questions in different languages because he was trying to determine what languages the barbarian spoke. Because he would just study people and in the most unnerving ways just try to figure out things about them rather than, like asking. So he would just fire off invisibly, just start firing off questions in different languages to see if the guy responded. Yeah.
That's pretty creative.
Yeah.
There was also a situation that didn't go on the Twitters, because there were several really good quotes from the game. But there was one that didn't make it on there, where they were one-shotting basic orc warriors the entire time, but then the paladin straight up just missed one. He rolled like a 2, and he goes, "Well, I guess I'm caressing him on the cheek now." I said, "Well, the orc winks back," and he's like, "I don't know what to do with this."
This sounds a lot like that old post of failed rolls.
Yep, it was based on that.
The chain of failed rolls.
He's like, I don't know what to do with that. They were like, I think he wants to start a life with you. He's like, I don't swing that way.
Well, you better tell him. Okay, roll charisma. I failed. All right, you're getting married next week.
You're starting a life together. Honey, I'm home. And the camp is burned down.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what was happening around them. Everything was on fire.
honey, I stole the kids. So,
that should be the name of the sequel to Everybody Loves Riken.
Honey, I stole the kids.
Really, it should be called Honey, Someone Stole the Armor of Cord Again.
So I've kind of based several things in my world around like these ancient artifacts, try to have stories tied to them and stuff like that. So that the party has found one or two of these things and or become connected to gods. So they are becoming people of import in this way. And I kind of like that. They're building a legend,
Yes, I do. My world has always been based around this kingdom that was awesome until suddenly it was no longer anything. And society is sort of like, it has rebuilt over the past 1,000+ years, but essentially what had happened was they had done battle with this great demon who was summoned by an idiotic wizard who didn't know what he was doing, because that's how things happen when there's magic in a world. And in the course of defeating the the demon and sending it back to the demon plane for 1,000 years, the entire kingdom was just straight up leveled.
Nice.
So the history of the regions that my adventures take place in is built off of what has happened since then.
Ah. Yeah, that was somewhat similar just in this one area where there was a very prosperous, very scientifically advanced kingdom, and then it suddenly stopped existing about 500 years before the campaign. And so they've learned some things about the history and the whys and the whos of how that all happened. But that was the dungeon.
Just history stuff for like 2 afternoons.
It was fun.
Just like building my world history of this continent, and essentially this kingdom that I was talking about like has a similar history to the expansion of Rome, and eventually had taken over the entire eastern coast of the continent up to the mountains south of the tundra. And then when the kingdom was no more, each of the regions carried on in different ways, and one of them was essentially like a continuation of those imperialistic ways, and has this whole situation where they're never really going to be at peace with their neighbors because of things that have happened.
I mean,
Like they had
that's how
taken,
that
they had
happens.
won a. Yeah, it really is. It's people are at their most peoplelessness when they're being jerks to each other.
Yeah.
And what happened was they got tired of. They were like, "Hey, we got neighbors to the west. I'm tired of them being there. Let's take over." So they had this war where they drove the elves that were allied with the humans out of the region and defeated the humans. But then they had an issue where Vikings were attacking them on the coastline, because the Vikings no longer had their homeland, so they're looking for somewhere to live. So the Vikings have been attacking their settlements on the eastern coast, and eventually they have a big battle where they defeat the Vikings, but the Vikings just go south instead of going where they are. And they go around this entire forest, and they find their way gradually into the region of the peoples who are only recently conquered. They've basically gone around in a giant circle and found their way into the Western nation that was recently conquered,
Yeah.
and united them to overthrow the conquerors, and now are their leaders. Like the Viking king was the first new king of this recently liberated area, and now it's just constant, not good relations between the two nations, and
Wait,
they're in a cold war over the rights to a lake that's right in the middle of them.
did they just accidentally a nation?
They were like, "Hey, we're kind of sore about this whole they defeated us thing," and the people in the region they just stumbled across were like, "Us too. We also don't like them. We should be friends." And in the home game that I'm doing with my kids and Gina and a few of our friends, that's the region that they have just stumbled across, and they don't even know anything about this conflict. And no matter where they are, someone's going to think that they're a spy. So yeah, D&D.
D&D's fun. I love D&D. I love the stories that come out of it. And so to just close off by explaining what you heard the other day, after they drove off the dragon and the city started trying to get back on its feet, the Riken went to the Temple of Cord to let them know that he had successfully found and acquired the ancient artifact. And the clerics there said, "Prove it. This thing's been missing for 500 years, and, some nobody from the other side of the world just wanders in with it. Prove that it's what you say it is." So what you were hearing was that the people there had fought him, because that is what the followers of Kord do, to see for themselves that this is the artifact he claims it is, and after having it proved to them, declared him, the true champion of Kord, as he had claimed.
Nice.
If I looked at like Riken, I'd question it also.
Hey.
Wow.
Everybody's rude. All right, Malachi, quickly tell us what being a pirate is like.
You know, I had a little misadventure recently, Tristan. It was very, very troubling.
You must not have invited me to your misadventure because I wasn't there for it.
Yeah. I thought I'd hop on for a hot second and play real quick, and I did. And I got in a sloop.
Yeah.
I went out sailing, and I was like, oh, enjoying myself and sailing around, and I'm parked at an island, digging up my chest. I put my chest down, grab something else, got on the boat. Go turn around and get my chest off the island. I see a mast just over the hillside, parked. And I look over, and there's someone running off with my chest.
Oh no!
I'm like, and I'm getting fired at from the mast, and I'm just like, yeah, there's two of them. I'm getting the heck out of here. I dropped my sail, I frigged off.
Was it a good chest or was it just any old chest?
It was kind of any old chest, but it was just like, oh, that was just a little more money, you know? And I was like, is it really going to be worth fighting? No, let's just go. And it was the beginning of my journey, so it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
So then I continue on. I'm sailing around. I go and I get more loot. And I actually got 2 villainous skulls, and I'm doing pretty good. I got a mermaid gem. I'm like, all right, we better go back in. There's another sloop. Damn it. And then I knew he'd seen me. I started sailing away, and I'm like, yep, he's coming after me, but I got the wind. And as I'm sailing, there's a galleon coming my way the other direction.
Oh no.
Son of a bleep. So I sail past him. I still have the wind, so I zip past him. He missed a couple shots. And then I'm like, please don't turn around. Please don't. Then I see him fire at the sloop behind me.
Yep.
Yes! I frigged off. So I kept sailing. I looped around, and I'm like, all right, there's an outpost there. I'm going to go turn around. And as I'm sailing, I'm like, damn it, there's that sloop again. He freaking survived. So then I turn away, and he's probably going to an outpost after being attacked by the galleon. And I was going to sail down the edge of the map, or sail a little lower and go across.
Mm-hmm.
And then 1 pops out of the water, 2 pops out of the water, 3 pops out of the water.
Oh,
Son
you
of a
ran
bitch.
into the skeleton fleet?
No, I ran into a kraken.
Oh.
And I'm like, I survived a sloop and a galleon running into me, and then you pull this crap on me, game.
Ooh.
Thank you. Lost all my loot, and lost my ship, and it was horrible.
Oh, that sucks so bad.
Yeah.
That's why you gotta let me know when you're getting on. That way you at least have somebody who can shoot while you steer, or vice versa.
Yeah, it was interesting, but yeah, so it's pretty interesting. Got to learn how to do some of the mechanics to where I can fight back, but most of the time, if I'm alone, if I run into anyone, there's usually 2 people, so I usually will hightail it out of there because
yeah, it's hard to play just by yourself. Like,
yeah, well,
Some
I
people
think
like it. I am not one of those people.
I think it's more, you just got to make more frequent trips to the outposts.
I think that's always a good idea in that game.
Well, I thought I'd just run the 3 that I had and then go back. But that wasn't a good idea. Anyway, so yeah. Played with Tristan also. We did a couple voyages, running higher voyages because they're got a better reputation than me.
Yeah, but I mean, that was big. We ran one of Ash's voyages for the Merchants Alliance.
And they have some pretty crazy voyages because, yeah, I went from like reputation 10 with merchants to 25.
I swear there must have been a rep boost on for the weekend or something.
Yeah, it skyrocketed.
I mean, it was good for all of us, but man, I'm still clawing my way toward 50 with them.
But I'm looking for hauls and stuff now. I had a hard time finding those places you told me about, Tristan, with the discounts.
They're called sea posts.
Yeah, I overlooked them quite a few times. And
So a
I
bunch of
saw
them
it.
actually have Seapost in the name, and some of them will be like, if you're in the Shores of Plenty, there's, I think it's called, darn it.
But you'll have to inform me about it later.
Yeah, well, they're small. They're little tiny islands that they're just a little rock with a dock, and that's it. There's
Rock
two
with the
people.
dock.
Yeah, it's just a rock with a dock, and there's 2 people on each one. It's the hunter's call, and then the guy with the discount merchandise.
Yeah. So yeah, I plan to play a little more today, I think, but I gotta do my dishes first.
All right, well, let me know before you get on, and we will sail together, and we'll get Alex too.
Not tonight.
Yeah, we're getting Alex.
Not
He's
tonight.
right. You see him. He's right there. He's gonna play with us.
He's got hockey to watch.
Him and
No,
his
I
hockey.
already told some other people I'd play.
Oh.
Yeah, but I don't think those other people are us.
No, he's not gonna be. My friend's not gonna be up until. Or he's going to be only playing until 10. So I mean, if you guys are still on, well, in your case 11,
Yeah.
then I'll play. But
All right, fine. All right, so that's it. We did some D&D stuff. We caught up with Joseph. We talked about Sea of Thieves.
Thieves of
Woo!
Sea.
People will probably see us playing if it's just Tristan and I for the podcast.
Mm.
Or
Yeah,
even
we should
Alex.
stream it.
'Cause- Yeah.
Stream it. We'll have to get ourselves a galleon.
Oh my.
A galleon.
It's not a very big ship if it's a galleon.
It's the biggest ship. Galleon is currently the biggest. It's got 3 masts.
It's not a lot of water.
Oh my
I can
gosh.
fit that in my fridge.
Get out of here!
I did not catch that. That was a good one.
I think it's time to get the flip out of here.
You want to hear the joke about staccato?
Do I?
No, you don't.
It's really short.
Oh God!
Oh,
Get out!
Good night, everyone.
Done.
Ugh.
Good night.
Hashtag goodbye.
Goodbye.
Want to hear the joke about the fermata?
Do I?
Kind of long.
Oh God.
Maybe I should hold it.
Ah.